Now that the garden is starting to grow, it's time to keep up with the weeds. Fortunately, we haven't had many yet. To keep it that way, we brought in an expert to talk strategy.
When they're this big, it takes a lot of effort to kill every weed. So, getting them early is really the key.
A good reason to use hand tools. We got the lowdown on which ones are best to have in the garden shed. Gallant says a short-handled hoe works for closer weeding.
If you're out pulling weeds by hand, it's very, very effective, but it's really, really slow too. So if you use a tool, even a short-handled tool, even though it can be hard on your back, with just the swipe of one tool, you can actually control dozens of weeds.
A long-handled onion hoe will be useful for non-back-breaking labor. Since we don't have to worry about that too much yet, Kay showed us how to thin out our radish seedlings, since those have already sprouted. Then, a way we can hinder future weed growth.
We are actually going to avoid some of those weeds by putting down a physical barrier of newspaper, which is really cheap, and then we put mulch on top of that. And that's really a good strategy for in the walkways and also between larger plants.
Making sure to overlap newspapers between each tomato plant and put a layer of straw on top, followed by lots of water.
It's important to water first thing in the morning. That's the biggest thing to think about, because we're avoiding a lot of disease problems by keeping the foliage as dry as possible. So we put the water down, we water the ground instead of the plants themselves as much as we can.
Next week, we'll address the issue of pesky animals scoping out our crops. In Bangor, this is Erin Thomas for ABC7 and Fox 22.